people don't want to be scammed. First of all, they have to get informed, and they have to stop getting all their perceptions from the mainstream media. When you step back from mainstream sources and you look at alternative sources where narratives are being questioned instead of parroted and repeated, then you can start to see how the dots connect. What is happening that is the point of revelatory understanding? You know, the mainstream media will tell you that something's happening. They won't tell you accurately, unbiasedly, why it's happening. I have this phrase, know the outcome and you'll see the journey. If you don't know where the world's being taken and who by, and the techniques of manipulation that take us there, then the world is a random place. You look at a newspaper and you look at the news or whatever, and lots of random things are happening. From that perspective of perceptual randomness to make sense of the world, not going to do it. When you know where the world's being taken, you know basically who's taking us there, why, and the techniques of manipulation to take us there, suddenly randomness disappears, because what is random to most people becomes a very clear sequence of events that is taking us in a very obvious direction towards the outcome. One of the expressions, and very relevant to today, of this mind control, what they call trauma-based mind control, is that when someone's traumatized, in a state of anxiety, in a state of fear, they become massively suggestible. This is why they use trauma as part of the mind programming. So what they're doing to humanity as a whole is producing reasons to fear, reasons for trauma, reasons for anxiety. And when they've manipulated people into those states, they then put the mind control suggestions in there of that change perception. If you get someone, and a lot of people watching this will have seen this in their own experience in the last few months, if you get someone so traumatized about a deadly virus, they become absolutely open to hypnotic suggestion, because this cult is not really targeting the conscious mind overwhelmingly. It's targeting the subconscious mind, which then filters through to become conscious perception. They put the suggestions in and change people's psyche. What's happened is that so many people in the last few months have been put under a hypnotic spell. And indeed, people are put through a hypnotic spell their entire lives. You go through the education system and then into the world of, where the media is telling you everything. It's a hypnotic spell that's being cast on the human race. And when people talk about people waking up, what does that mean? It means they wake up from the trance. They wake up from the spell. And so I meet so many people because of what I do. And what do they say? I woke up. It's exactly what happens. When you can put out information that's putting a different angle on everything, what you're doing is breaking the spell. Because the spell is basically all that anyone's ever heard. Mainstream sources, they're all sources of the spell. And when people hear other sources of information and other ways of looking at the world, it breaks the spell. And people say, I woke up. Yeah, you woke up from the trance that you've basically been put in since the day you were born. What has happened in the last few weeks of this hoax has been the most potent, obvious, in-your-face example of a spell being cast on the human psyche, because someone you are feeling sleepy has told them to do so. No questioning, no research, know who benefits, just do it. Why is it that everything is a frequency? My voice now is a frequency. And mendacity, lies, deceit is a frequency. Truth is a frequency, a much more powerful frequency. And they know the power of the truth circulating because people resonate with it. And so if they are going to pull off what we're unfolding now, what we're experiencing now, and they are going to control billions of people, they have to control their perception. They have to. We are in the situation we are now because of mass human perception. And that perception allows vast numbers of people to concede their uniqueness, to concede their freedom, and to sit in their house under house arrest, being told what to do by a handful of people. And the other perception is, I can see there's something not right here, but what are the consequences of me saying so or taking this on and challenging it? And that perception of what are the consequences for me means that lots of people who have realized something's not right also sit under house arrest. And those two perceptions, they are the reason this is happening. It's perception and fear of consequences that are making this all possible and are destroying the independent livelihoods of billions of people. And the greatest form of control is dependency. This is not about money, you see. This is about control. This is about a complete takeover, not just of humans in the physical sense, if you like. It's to take over their minds and their perceptions directly in the end. And there's two mass mind perceptual manipulation techniques that this cult uses to advance its agenda. One I called a long time ago problem, reaction, solution, where you covertly create a problem, you get your unquestioning media to tell the public the version of that problem you want them to believe, and you want the public to be saying in a state of fear and anxiety or outrage, something must be done, what are they going to do about it? And then those who've covertly created the problem and got that reaction then openly offer the solutions to the problems they've covertly created and blame someone else for. And there's another version of that, which I have called no problem reaction solution. That's where you don't need a real problem. You need the perception of one. I'm going to do what I know to be right. That is an unstoppable force. It doesn't need violence. Last thing we need is violence. This doesn't do violence. But the power of doing what you know to be right and not in ever considering not doing it. If enough people do that, we take control back of our society. And we will inherit a society based on that and not on fear, which is what has controlled human society for about known human history.